Hello, welcome to Stephen Speak. On today's episode, as you can hear from the background of the Starship Enterprise noise, we're going to be talking about Star Trek with my best mate, Scott. So, let's get into it. Welcome to Stephen Speak, the podcast. Unscripted prattle on everything and nothing. Fade in the starship sound. Okay, so Scott's here. Welcome to the podcast, Scott.
Hello.
Again, I'm gonna like. Probably shouldn't really reveal it, but we've recorded this once already. Was it about 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, something like that?
Technical issues.
We had a technical issue because of
I think that's because I'm here.
Scott, you are a bit of a jinx with trunical. Is that a Scottish electric device? Electronical. Electrical devices. Scott does like brick things. Like you can have Scott come around and just say, "Oh, I've got this really thing and it works every time," and then Scott will hold it and it'll fail. But it was my fault really. Because I've never interviewed anyone before on the podcast, I'd forgot to put like the de-esser and like the background cancellation crap on it. So when we came to review it, it was actually a really good episode. So hopefully we can recreate it. Be gutted if we can't. I'm sure we can. Like we're just talking about Star Trek, which we love. So
yeah.
But basically, when we came to listen it back, there was like loads of echoes of each other's voice on each other's microphones, and I could have cried. So I was going to try and edit it, and then I decided, you know what, I don't script anything, don't edit anything, and it would have taken. I think it would have taken far too much time. And I don't think it would have been good anyway. So, anyway, I fucked up. Surprise, surprise. But Scott, got you on the podcast today because we both love Star Trek.
Yeah.
You, I think, maybe a tad more than me. I think we both have a passion for it, but I think that yours, especially knowledge-wise of recall and stuff, because you kind of have like an incredible memory for things.
Ish.
But things you love, at least.
Yeah.
The things you love, you always have like such a good recall, and like you can recall like things in episodes and stuff. And I'm just like, oh, I remember like the rough base of that episode, but you'll remember who said what and stuff, and blows my mind a little bit, to be honest. So
watch a movie once and
pretty much, like we went
to
see Avatar last night, and I bet you can recall scenes pretty vividly, and I'd be like, oh, I don't remember that happening, and it's a bit fucking annoying if I'm honest. But it's a cool gift to have, I suppose. But yeah, so Star Trek, Scott. So mine is a different scale to your fandom, I would say. So why Star Trek? Like kind of big question. But how did you get into it as well?
Well, that was my mum from a very early age showing me stuff that she liked to watch when she was growing up.
Yeah.
And biggest mistake she made, because then after that it's like you can have this Star Trek thing and this Star Trek thing, and the collecting grew.
So it was just your mum just showing her what was on when she was there, kind of thing. Kind of similar to me, because my dad, it was on one day and he was just like, oh my god, like, same with Doctor Who, he did the same with Doctor Who to me, and he used to say that he was terrified of Doctor Who and Star Trek because of the monsters and stuff in it, and he was always like, he kind of watched them behind the settee. It's amazing he became a paratrooper, really. But yeah, he did the same to me. Maybe didn't influence me as much as it did you, because I've never really had any Star Trek toys. I did when I was like a teenager. Weirdly, I started when I got into like kind of collecting. I had some micro machines, which I think you've got the ones that I had now. I think the ones that I could find at least. But you kind of took it to a new level. You kind of held on to that, like, oh my god, what is this new thing? Is Ace, and give me toys about it, kind of thing.
Books, video games, anything that's Star Trek related.
You've got like the novelizations of like the intermediate stories of like the things that aren't on the TV shows as well, haven't you? Because there's like loads of them. Like Star Wars has it all, and Doctor Who has it all, and you've got
but I don't think
Star Wars. No, we're not talking about Star Wars.
No.
So blaspheme. But yeah, it's. But no, it's just. I think it's a really interesting how people get like kind of obsessed with things. Because I don't know why I've got an obsession with aliens. No idea why. I was terrified with it when I was a kid, and all of a sudden I'm like, I need to collect all the comics and and not I choose my things wisely. I love aliens. I couldn't really tell you why. So what do you think is the aspect of Star Trek that made you grasp onto it so tightly? Because I know why it is for me, but why is it for you?
I think at the time, because I started watching the original series, because that was the one I was pointed at as nothing really like that on the TV. I know that when I was watching it, there was Next Generation and the newer stuff, but that was on Sky and we didn't have Sky, so it was like...
Because this is something we discovered last time.
Yeah.
Which was a revelation on the one we previously recorded. I actually thought you got into Star Trek through the Next Generation.
Yeah, because that's my usual go-to.
That's kind of like our favourite, Star Trek kind of era. And I was convinced it was that. And you actually said that actually it was the original series. That's how I got into it. Yeah. And that's my kind of first introduction.
I went through it in the proper order. Well,
yeah, kind of.
The proper production order, but actually it turns out not to be the proper order now because they did prequels and stuff.
Well, yeah. Everyone does a prequel now, don't they? You have to have. You're not a proper franchise now if you've not done at least either an episode of a prequel or some sort of series of a prequel. So, I was literally convinced that TNG was the one. And
that's definitely had the biggest influence on me. Yeah. But the thing that started it all was original series, and now I've got a sort of another sort of pull back to that sort of thing with the newest Strange New World stuff, because there's lots in that was actually that encapsulates what drew me into it in the first place.
I must admit, I think we both really enjoyed that. It's one of the things when they start a new Star Trek series, Discovery.
That's put into the same category as Star Wars during this podcast.
God, that's bad, then, isn't it? That shows how shite it is. Yeah. Well, actually, I don't know. There's bits of it that I enjoyed.
No,
but I'd conceptually, let's say, like some designs and stuff like that. But then the essence of it, I couldn't get into.
The only good stuff that came out of that was the stuff that was the Genesis for Strange New Worlds.
For Pike and that.
Yeah. Because it shows the future as something that's more open-minded, and they go out and they explore and stuff, and it's not all doom and gloom every 5 minutes, which is, if that's what you do in your TV show, I very quickly tune out, because real life isn't all doom and gloom every 5 minutes.
It's Eastenders in space.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know. You know what? I can't even say too much because I'm not even. I've not seen it all. I think I started watching series 2, and I think I got to the second episode. It felt such a slog for me to get through it. I was just I wasn't. It was one of them things that was on in the background really, and I kept facing out. I was like, oh my god, is it still on? I wasn't really concentrating, and I think it had been that long between the first series and the second series when I actually started watching the second series. I was just I can't even remember what's going on. That's how forgettable it was. Whereas the Strange New Worlds series, firstly, I'm going to go watch it all again, even though I've got about a million things on my watch list. I am going to watch it again before I cancel Paramount Plus, and then probably resubscribe to watch the next series. But I want to watch. Firstly, I want to watch it again, and secondly, I can remember moments from it, probably not as vividly as you do, but I can remember moments from it and episodes, and I remember some of the Easter eggs they were putting in, and that's nice. They weren't being too obvious with it, and
it's also it's more individual stories every week rather than little bits that are leading up to a bigger conclusion. It's just I've now got to watch the whole thing to get to, and it seemed a bit rushed in places just to bounce over some stuff, and it's just, I don't want to watch that. And I have tried, because in my head it's it's Star Trek, it'll get better. It didn't get better.
You know what? That's how I viewed it, and I say I probably should try and watch it all, but then I also think it'll be a waste of my life. I feel I don't feel I need to. I don't think my opinion would change of it. But let's stop hating on Discovery. Let's
you started down
Should
this
we?
path.
I don't know. Let's carry on. You know what I really hate actually about that show?
Go on.
It really annoys me how they wear disco shirts. The disco says disco across them. Because the first time I saw them with that on, I thought, oh, maybe it's just covered up and it just says Discovery. And it was on someone's shirt, small, on the where your pocket should be on your breast. And I was like, no, it's not covered up. It does say disco. And then they were wearing T-shirts with disco on, and I was like,
something for marketing reasons, probably.
I mean, yeah, I can see where they're coming from with it, and like,
but it's like everything else these days. It's like whenever there's a new series or something, or a new movie with the same characters, they'll redesign everything so that then you have a whole new merchandising angle to go at.
Got a whole new audience, whole new merchandise angle, and
well, this is going off
more money, millions of pounds.
This is going a bit off the rails.
Oh, always. I just. Thing is, that's what it's about. Like, we're just chatting, aren't we? Let's face it.
Yeah, but we're going into sort of the politics of production.
Hating on Discovery, and then the politics of commercialism. and let's face it, I've brought a load of crap off the internet. So.
Which then, I suppose, in the future depicted in Star Trek, it's not really a thing, because you just press a button and whatever you want is generated.
It just materialises in front of you. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Yeah. Now, Star Trek itself, like, personally, you normally sit on one side of the fence. It's always Star Trek or Star Wars. People don't seem to know the difference half the time,
and that annoys me.
That really winds me up too. It's happened many times in my life. My mum still doesn't seem to understand. She knows the two different shows, and she even knows really the difference, and she can name characters, but when it comes to buying me stuff, she'll pick something and go, oh, look, Steve, this Star Wars thing, that'd be perfect for you, because you love Star Wars. I don't mind a bit of Star Wars, but Star Trek. And I know, like, your nan used to do the same, didn't she?
Yeah.
Like, she'd buy you, like, socks and stuff, and they'd be Star Wars socks, and my mother-in-law does the same. Like, for the last, like, she didn't buy me anything Star Wars this year. But I was actually expecting something Star Trek, but maybe she couldn't find anything. But I think that's the thing as well. Star Wars stuff's so much more readily available, I think, and that's why people get confused. And just because it's got the word star in it, it's like, oh, that's the same thing. It is not. People of the world. And I think the biggest difference is that, like, they always say, don't they, like, the Star Wars universe is all kind of a bit dirty, a bit grimy, the ships are all a bit knackered, and whereas Star Trek, conversely, is like shiny new in general. Like, because, you know, the Federation, like, oh, look, we work to better ourselves. And I like the concept of that better, really. And even though there's, like, conflicts and wars and stuff in the Star Trek universe, it's like we're all about, like, trying to work together and better ourselves and you know, get rid of money, and we want an Earl Grey tea hot. It just appears in front of you.
Yeah.
Was that something that appealed to you as a kid? Like, because I think it's less focused in the original series. They're more about the exploration of space. Really, they kind of mention, like, you know, we better ourselves and we work work for people. But it's really, I think it's really stipulated really in TNG, isn't it? That, like, Picard says it quite a lot, like, we work to better ourselves, and then the episodes with Q, he's very much like, you know what, this human race isn't perfect, but we've changed and blah blah blah, and the past is the past and stuff. So was that something that was like a big influence for you, and you thought, actually, that's kind of like a nice view of the world?
Yeah, because again, Star Wars, and I hate to keep referring to
the thing is, it's a big thing. It's a polarizing thing, isn't it? So
that is, again, the whole, it's all, you know, wars constantly going on, and I like the escapism of Star Trek and stuff. And to me, weirdly, Star Trek's more realistic.
It is, because
there's not the whole thing with the Force and lightsabers, and in my head, when I see that, it's like, this doesn't make any sense.
It's magic, isn't it? Seems like magic.
There is, you know, Star Trek stuff doesn't, you know, a lot of the stuff there probably not going to happen, but they try to put a scientific spin on it that makes it sound plausible.
Well, some stuff has a basis in science, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And they may, like, go a bit outside the realms of that, but
and there's little in-jokes with the transporter with the Heisenberg compensator.
Yep.
Because of the Heisenberg uncertainty principle.
We did physics. Don't ask me to explain that.
I'll have a stab.
Go on. See if you can.
That anything that's being viewed changes. So when it's not being viewed, it's not gonna. It's gonna be in a different state. So therefore, transport wouldn't work, because when it's being viewed to be recorded, to record the pattern of someone to shoot them down to the planet, it's not going to be right. So they have the compensator.
So they know where the thing is.
To say, that gets round of physical law.
I could have explained that, I think. It'd be like Schrodinger's cat, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, kind of thing. Similar-ish. Every psychologist in the world that listens to this is going to go, no, it isn't. But yeah, that's why I like it as well. Because, as I say, we both did physics at college. That's kind of like that's how me and Scott met. Fundamentally, maybe we should talk on that actually, like a little bit.
Well, several different lessons.
Yeah, we did. We were in quite a few together, weren't we?
Well, I can't remember.
Geography, design, and physics, and
yeah, I can't remember if it's probably been brought up in the past. Like when I was going for the sign-in thing, signing up for classes and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And they're going, just put you on the page. Is there anyone you recognise from this list of people? And I was like, well, no one from my school comes to this thing, but this Steve K seems to be in all the ones I'm signing up for.
And the thing is, I was the only one from my school that went to our college as well. So I think it was kind of fate, really, wasn't it? And
yeah,
I think when we first met, we were both kind of like not knowing where we were meant to be going ish. We kind of did, but kind of didn't. Yeah. And we were both like, I've seen you today in quite a few classes. Let's be friends. And that's pretty much how it happened, wasn't it? It was like, oh, can I stick with you? Yes, please. Yes, okay then. Right, cool. Yeah, and we haven't looked back since, and we got we were quite. As
has been thingy in this last couple of days. No references to the time.
No, you know what? Did you see that I avoided that?
Yeah.
I was gonna say how long ago it was.
Yeah,
I was tempted to say it then.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, but I'm not gonna say how.
I'd walk out.
Yeah, just get up and walk out. You just sit mic drop. Headphones hit the floor. Actually, you'd be fucking lucky to get out.
I would find a way.
To just climb over all the boxes that I blocked the door with. My bedroom's a bit of a mess again. Like the last time I recorded a podcast with someone, I'd actually cleared all my bedroom out, so it was really nice and neat and tidy. Unfortunately,
life happened.
Pretty well. I'd shoved all the stuff into Sarah's yoga room. And obviously she came back from holiday and she wants to do yoga.
Fair enough.
Jesus, so I had to empty her room. So stuff is here again. It'll be better when I'll sort it at some point. Well, I literally would like to transport it somewhere. Imagine having a transport into the loft. So you have to go up there. That's the dream. Little O'Brien in the loft.
Yeah, good for inanimate objects. Not so good for people because it is really a suicide machine.
Well, yeah. I mean, because I think Enterprise, wasn't it? In Enterprise, it was actually only meant for cargo and stuff, and they hadn't tested it on someone. And then I think it's like in this. I've been watching Enterprise recently, so I think it's like in the second episode they use it to beam Archer aboard. I think it is. I think is it Archer?
No, they beam some people.
They beam someone aboard.
They beam someone off a planet in a storm with leaves in, and they materialise with all leaves embedded in them.
Yes. Yeah. It's horrendous.
Yeah.
Because you don't really think about that. I remember we talked about that at college, because I was like, I never even thought about that, because they didn't have the technology in the transport to like separate the material out of what was human and what wasn't. It just beamed organic matter aboard. And I remember watching that episode thinking, holy crap, that's horrendous. Like, I would never even have thought about that. So well done, writers. But yeah, early days of transportation. Someone said they actually did transport something. I remember it was in the newspapers years ago. They managed to transport something, but it was literally like an atom.
It was the state of an atom from one place.
It was one place to another, but it was like such a short distance. But they basically said, well, that proves that you could transport something. Well, hang on, one thing, and like how many atoms is made of, is in the human body? It's like, but they were saying like to compute where all the pieces of the body were, all them billions of atoms, trillions probably. The amount of computing power. I think they said the computers would stack from here to Jupiter and back.
Yeah,
or something stupid like
that.
And it was just like, wow, that was how many computers would need to track them over a certain distance. And it was like, well, yeah, that's never going to happen, is it?
Well, like I say, it's a suicide machine, because if it's going to be vaporizing you, shooting that energy down and then recompiling it, how are you the same person? It's like sending a fax and dropping it into dropping the original into a shredder.
Well, they did that, didn't they? Because Riker got split into two people, didn't he? He got copied because there was a problem. He got copied,
and that was that storyline's copied in one of the new in Lower Decks as well.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Bounces off mysterious energies.
Oh, Lower Decks. That's something that's pretty sweet. A recent addition to the Star Trek universe. That's something. When they announced that, I was like, you can't have a cartoon of Star Trek. Then I remembered the original series cartoon. I was like, hang on. Yeah, fair enough. That's the original series. That doesn't count. How are they going to do this? And then I saw some screenshots and I thought it looked quite like a modern kind of cartoony kind of
Rick and Morty.
Like
vibes.
kind of like that, like Adult Swim kind of cartoon. And I was like, still a bit worried, but watched the first episode and I was like, this has been made by people that like Star Trek.
I think it was done by the guy who wrote a book about what Series 8 of Next Generation would have been.
Oh, really?
I think, yeah. I have to double check that, but I'm pretty sure it's who's involved.
Cool. I didn't know that. See, you're a world of knowledge, Scott.
It's all pointless knowledge.
I find it interesting. That's all that matters. That's literally all that matters. There's so many facets to Star Trek, though. I think that like the species and all the series and how they all tie together, and we talked about like how you got into it and stuff, and like your likes about it. So, what is your favorite? I don't know the answer to this. We kind of touched on it. Your favorite series of Star Trek? Your favorite era?
Next Generation.
Next Generation. It was obvious answer. We kind of touched on that. And why is that? Why is that?
Just the best one. I don't need to give reasons.
It's just the best. End of.
I mean,
podcast's over, right? We'll sign off now. Then that's it. TNG. Star Trek's the best. TNG's the best. That's it.
They're all good, apart from Discovery. That can go. No. Won't discuss that anymore.
Yeah, it's in the bin.
Right. They've all got their own bits where they get better.
Yeah.
And it's like DS9. That's a bit dark and gloomy at the beginning. Not interested in that.
You know what it is? I've started watching that again, and I forgot how like kind of dull it is as well. It's kind of introduce people, but it's really like we're all gonna die, and like and it's just like really going through the motions. And I think I was on the 5th or 6th episode, and it's like, right, someone smiled. It was like, wow, like. And
the religious element, which is something that's not in any of the other series ever. Religion isn't a thing.
It's not. I think they touch on it like with species.
Yeah,
don't they?
but never the Federation.
Never Federation people, isn't it? Really?
No, it's just like they've grown above it over time, and that's how they've managed. One of the elements of why humanity's come together and everything.
Science,
else,
baby.
Yeah. DS9 gets good when they go to war, weirdly, for a Star Trek thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. Then Voyager is a bit rocky until they introduce 7 and 9, because that's the Borg element, which is the big baddie that was
7 and 9 wasn't introduced until later on, though. It was like
series
4 or 5, isn't it? Like, so, that's 3 series of no skin tight suits, which is a travesty.
True.
Do you remember our physics teacher?
Yeah.
We used to mention 7 of 9, and he used to go off in a bit of a daze, and you'd be like, "Sir, you all right?" He'd be like, "Yes, I'm fine." And then he'd bring Voyager episodes in, for us to discuss physics topics with Star Trek. So he was a great teacher. Apart from when he used to tell us off for being thick. Well, not thick, but thick.
Told me off for drawing a diagram in pen.
He made me write in pencil all the time. Like, you're lucky. I feel like that's what they make, like, I don't know, like, I felt a bit remedial, to be honest, like writing pencil. Yeah, but the lessons where he used to let us watch TV and explain physics based on that, like, because he did it with the clangers as well, didn't he?
I remember that.
I don't think you were there actually for the clangers.
No,
one of the people in class brought clangers in. We watched clangers and I had to say why it was wrong based on physics. Well, the mice on the moon? That was one of the answers. There's mice on the moon. Anyway, we digress again. So yeah, Voyager got a great one. Jerry Ryan joined as 7 of 9.
Well, did that add to a needed element, because the Borg were a big thing it was created for TNG, but they hadn't really been developed that much until First Contact, best Next Generation movie, one of the best Star Trek movies overall.
Definitely.
So that adds to the thing, because Voyager's I was just a spaceship in space trying to get home, and that's actually done. That storyline's done better in Battlestar Galactica, which the guy who came up with that was working on Voyager and didn't like where it was going, and was like, right, I'm going off and doing this, but better. Which, so that's good. Enterprise, that one, good at the beginning, and then good at the end, weirdly. Although,
see, I've never seen all of Enterprise, I don't think, and that's why I'm rewatching it now, because I'm pretty sure I missed, because I was working and stuff when we were at college, and it was when it was on. Even though I had Sky, I'd record it, and it wouldn't record properly. It was well annoying. It was like the beginnings of Sky Plus. So I know I missed like quite a few episodes, and then never got around to watching them because I've never bought them or anything like that. And
I definitely do that.
So yeah, every single format known to man.
I have to make sure I'm prepared for the current format.
If there's an apocalypse, like, you're sorted. Like, you will be the library of Star Trek. But yeah,
just have to make sure I've got power to run everything, so charge up the power banks.
Get some dilithium. I'll be on a fucking hamster wheel. That's what I'll be in the corner. I'd probably have a heart attack, but so I that's why I started watching it, because I need to like finish it. But I remember you telling me some episodes and stuff, and
oddly, because I think the last series is pretty good. They didn't get a big budget because it was on its way out because of ratings and stuff.
I think they knew they were going to finish it, but I think I did see that at the end of it, but I think it was series 3 that I didn't see all of. But I saw like the start of it, and I think I missed a chunk in the middle, and then saw the end. But it's been that long, I couldn't even tell you what happened.
I really like the last episode as well, which that's blasphemy, because apparently the whole internet hates the last episode, and so do the people who made it. And I was just like, I really liked it. I like that episode. I remember the last episode being all right. Yeah. Again, with me, and if the music's good in a thing as well, that'll hold my interest. Yeah. And there's bits of music in that, specifically the end bit of music, where I think they realised it was going to be the end of Star Trek for a period of time, because it was when did that finish? Was it 2000 and?
Well, it started in 2002, didn't it?
Yeah, 2000.
So it's like 2005.
Yeah, I was going to say 2005, but
yeah, I'm pretty sure it started in 2002.
I have to double check that, but
it might be. I don't know, because we were at college at the time. But maybe it was 2001 to 2004. I don't know. Someone will correct us or know or not care.
But it's because it's under the guise of being a simulation of what happened. So the cast are like, well, this isn't really it's not our characters, simulations of things, and that's a bit of a piss take. And it's just like, well, this sort of stuff happened, air quotes, in the thing. It's just that someone else is reviewing it to use that experience to inform their decisions in an episode of TNG, because it tied back to TNG, and then that's how it gets me in there. And it's such a random episode of TNG as well. The Pegasus.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I can't wait to watch that episode again. Actually, I need to start binge watching it. I think then just to get through to that one, because I remember watching it and thinking this is such a bizarre episode, and then when they started like introducing the TNG factor on it, I was like, oh, it's got better. Anything TNG for me is makes everything better. But I think what we'll do is we'll end it there for now, and we shall carry on in a second part. What is this? This cliffhanger. It's
This is a cliff.
This is a cliff. The old ones are the best. So yeah, we'll end it there. So cheers, Scott.
Not old.
Scar's a problem with time.
It seems to pass in like
it's dilating
seconds, which it does, I suppose.
Oh, it does. So yeah, we'll end it there, and we'll see you in part 2. So cheers, Scott, and we'll see you in part 2. You've been listening to Stephen Speak the Podcast. Thanks for listening to my unscripted prattle on everything and nothing. Visit stevenspeak.com for updates, information, and my blog. You can follow more updates on social media at StevenspeakPC. Thanks very much, and I'll speak to you soon.